It's that time of the week where your two most favorite co-hosts in the entire world are back at it with a brand new episode of Beyond Expectation podcast. Of course, Eduardo, and then yours truly, Brett, aka the White Rhino, are back at it in the virtual studio. As you can see, we're in the real studio. As you can see, there's a pocket behind here, this wall right here. It's like a little. There you go. See, it's a little magic trick we like to do to all the new people that are coming and checking out our podcast. This is all magic, people. All
I can
magic. We're
almost
making
touch
it.
you.
I know we
You're
are. We are
so
touching
close,
each
yet
other.
you're so far away.
No, we are touching each other. But brother, before we embark on this episode, and of course, all your new viewers, all you new listeners, welcome. We like to dive into the most randomest topics that happen throughout the week. But before
Yeah,
we got into that, before we jump into this little rabbit hole, I like to ask my compadre here. How are you doing today, brother?
doing good, man. Just went
Yeah.
through my grandpa's closet and just trying to find an outfit for the episode.
Well,
He
by
was
the
a
way,
big Hank Williams fan.
by the way, I love the threads. First and foremost, the cowboy hat looks good with the bandana underneath it. It's like you're
Yeah.
still thuggish, but you're still country. So you got like the best of both worlds, you know. And you're sipping on what are you sipping on today, man? I
Oh,
got the
to
regular H2O, so I'm not nothing crazy on my end. So
good for you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What about
Yeah,
you?
don't I'm not too far behind you. I'm looking at a non-alcoholic upside dawn. It's a athletic brewing company. So,
Okay.
I got to pay the bills tomorrow, so I got to wake up at the butt crack of dawn. So, no hangovers for this guy.
Smart man though, you know, we gotta act right and act accordingly, you know. It's all about priorities up in here, right? We're professionals. That's what we are. We're really professionals. So
We live
yeah.
by example. We lead by example,
Exactly right.
starting with fashion.
Fashion. Oh, dude, I love the jacket too. By the way, I know we've talked off air in regards to how you obtained it, but man, I'm telling you, I need to get me one. But I need to have the colors of. Have you seen those like I like to call them Mexican blankets, like those like the
Yeah.
different colors. I want that in the front though. You know what I'm saying, to kind of
Oh, for
represent my
sure.
culture. You know, so I
Definitely
definitely
represent.
I need something like that though, because it feels like it keeps you warm. I'm sure it does, right?
Oh, I'm like, I'll be sweating. That's what the bandana's for. Catch all the sweat so they ain't gonna see the drip.
Ooh,
But
that's a
but
bar,
they
dude.
are seeing the drip. You know what I mean?
Okay, okay.
Man.
Damn. I swear, I always tell this man he rhymes even though he doesn't want to rhyme. He still does it like naturally. And I always ask him, is that a line from somewhere? He's like, no, he just came off the top. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Fair
it's
enough.
always off the top. Yeah, it's always off the top. It's just, when you open for Sir Mix-a-Lot in your early rap
Oh, dude.
days,
Oh,
that
there you
just
go. There
that
we
just
go.
sticks with you, right? Like I was rapping before anybody ever heard Eminem, and then this crazy guy from 8 Mile shows up and, tears up the club. He hooked up with Dre. That was the only thing. But
That was
I
it.
personally liked ICP more. Just saying. I was a bigger ICP fan than Eminem fan.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Also, before we proceed on this brand new episode, we definitely want to give a shout out to Skip on his release of his new album. Sorry for my trauma. Phenomenal album. I listened to it last. So this is going to release on Friday. Last Friday when it came
Yeah.
out, which was on the third,
Third.
right?
Yeah.
Phenomenal album, definitely. So for all you people that are listening to this episode, definitely go check it out. Skip, SKYPP. Sorry for number 4, my trauma. Amazing individual, amazing artist, talented by far. Just down to earth guy. You know, we enjoyed our conversation we had in the past previous episode, 119. This is going to be 120. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out just to kind of get a more overall perspective as him as a person and individual. But aside from
Mhm.
that, with his music, so it's we definitely enjoyed having him on, and he was actually on before that, so he's definitely no stranger to the podcast. So
Yeah.
Skip, shout out to you, man. Congrats again on
Shout
your
out
on your new album, and
for sure.
much success, my friend. But yeah, go check it
Yes.
out if you haven't. But yeah, man. So we're rolling off that episode, and we're rolling back here on a brand new week. And I'll tell you what, man, there is, I would say, a lot going on right now, and a lot of I don't know what we can say in the conspiratorial side slash what would you want to add to it? Like, how would you want to word this? We're gonna jump straight into this
Yeah.
into the topic that I think what I'm trying to bring
You
up.
There's definitely some layers of conspiracy attached to it for sure. But current events,
Yes,
current
yes, yes,
events,
yes, yes, yes.
global politics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I mean, we could be on the cusp of World War III, like this might be the last podcast you ever hear.
If you
Yeah.
ever do hear one again, we're gonna be the bunker. We're gonna be, just smoking Marlboro Reds like crazy, paranoid, eye shots blood red, just paranoid out of our minds.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to let
I
you
just
people know
hope
what's
that
going on in the USA.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, did you say what? Go ahead. You go down. But I was just gonna build on what you were saying, and I just hope that if we get nuked, it's our shadows you see on the brick wall behind us.
What do you call that? What do you call those shadows? There's a term
Like
for it,
flash
right?
burn or something like crazy. I don't know.
I hope the mic
You'd
gets
have to
captured with
you'd
me
have
in
to
the
ask him
pit
in
virus.
Nagasaki.
We're coming out firing right off rip. I love it. Okay, but by all means, though, yeah, I mean, we don't want a war to happen whatsoever. We're all about peace and love over here.
Yeah,
But
we don't
hey, we
we
can't
don't
control
want
what
bombs on
happens.
our
It gets
soil.
dropped. Yeah, exactly. We can't control that. We're just two dudes in the basement in our studio
Our-
podcasting.
our-
So we have no call in that. All right. So don't kill us. Okay. So no, but it's wild, right? So what we're referring to, and this is the first topic we're going to jump straight into, is what they're calling a spy balloon from China.
China.
And this came up, and just randomly it just started making some headways in the news, and people were talking about how this thing was just floating in the air. I think it was in was it
Montana, my
Montana,
stomping
right?
grounds, baby.
So
That's kind of why I'm wearing the hat.
so do you know, knowing that you're from there, like, has anybody from over there told you about it, like on their end, seeing this from firsthand, or how did you hear about this on your end? Like, because I know I heard it like on the news, people were posting clips about it, but how did you find out about it?
For sure, it was the same for me. And when
Okay.
I did ask my peeps in Montana, nobody knew. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm like, dude, you guys watch the news? Nope, mainstream media, all fake news. We don't
Okay,
believe anything we see.
I
So,
respect it. Okay,
they were still preparing the bunkers, but they just didn't know that danger was lurking overhead.
dude. So
Interested in their ICBMs that they got over there.
I'm just very, it's almost kind of questionable to me that nobody actually try to like fire something at this thing, or even just maybe like thinking that it lasted this long. So by the time this comes out, it literally took a couple days for them to even do anything. So last I've heard, before we dive into kind of what's surrounding this whole thing, they shot it down. Obviously, they sent a fighter jet out there to shoot it down, so it's been shot down. But then they're saying about another one potentially has been found or located. That's kind of news that just broke out. I haven't really read too much on that, but overall on this one specifically, I do have a little article here that I'm gonna read off of to just kind of give a good just a point of view of what's going on, and people that haven't heard about this. We're going to definitely school you up and just keep you in the loop of this so-called spy balloon that was sent over from China for God knows what. So
Mm.
let's indulge. Let me take a little sip of the H2O here so I can get my beautiful reader's voice going.
Yeah, get
All
that
right.
H2 Izzo in you.
H2ISO. Let's go, baby. Okay, so this is off the New York Times, okay? And this is verbatim what they're talking about, this spy balloon. American and military officials on Thursday said they had detected a high altitude surveillance balloon launched by China floating in the skies of Montana, causing a diplomatic panic that led Secretary of State Anthony J. Blinken to postpone a planned trip to Beijing. On Friday, Chinese officials declared that the floating orb was a quote mainly meteorological balloon that had floated into American airspace and introduced the phrase force majeure. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. An action caused by forces beyond a party's control into the conversation. The development comes months after President Biden and President Xi Jinping of China met in the high stakes summit in Bali to publicly declare that neither wanted the fierce competition between their two superpowers to erupt into conflict. Here's what we know about the balloon. What happened and when? NBC News reported on Thursday afternoon that the military officials had been planning monitoring for several days what they had determined to be a Chinese-made spy balloon floating over Montana. The Pentagon held a news briefing hours later. General Pat Ryder, the Pentagon press secretary, said that the United States continues to track and monitor it closely. China's foreign ministry issued a statement that confirmed the balloon's origin but disputed its alleged purpose. It is a civilian airship used for research, mainly meteorological purposes, said the statement on the ministry's website. Affected by the westerlies and with the limited self-steering capability, the airship deviated far from its planned course. The Chinese side regrets the unintended entry of the airship into U.S. airspace due to the force majeure. I don't know if, again, I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but you get the picture. In a briefing with reporters aboard Air Force One, when the president was en route to Philadelphia, Karen Jean Pierre, the White House press secretary, said that Mr. Biden had been briefed about the balloon on Tuesday. She said that the balloon did not present a military threat, but called its presence a violation of our sovereignty. Is this a big deal or not? That's the question of this.
It's
It
a
is a
huge
big
deal.
it is a big enough deal for the State Department to cancel Mr. Blinken's planned trip without rescheduling it, and for the president to discuss the situation with its military advisors. A senior defense official told reporters on Thursday that similar balloons had been spotted before, including in previous presidential administrations. The official also said that Mr. Biden had been briefed and had asked to review military options. The episode illustrated how high the tensions are and how much distrust remains between Washington and Beijing. On Friday, Mr. Blinken, who said had been the first American secretary of state to visit China in 6 years, told the top foreign policy official in the Chinese Communist Party, Wang Yi, that the balloon's course was a violation of sovereignty and unacceptable. Some experts have questioned the decision not to send Mr. Blinken. We've got an important but more problematic relationship which could get worse, said Richard N. Haas, the president of the Council in Foreign Relations. The main purpose of the trip was to put some guardrails on the relationship. To me, this highlights the need for that more than ever. Why not shoot the balloon down? Mr. Biden's top generals recommended that he not to use military force to shoot down the balloon because the debris could harm people on the ground. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and other Republicans have called for Mr. Biden to issue an aggressive response. China's brazen disregard for U.S. sovereignty is a destabilizing action that must be addressed, and that President Biden cannot be silent, Mr. McCarthy said on Twitter. Others called for more forceful action. Shoot the balloon down, former Donald J. Trump wrote the website on Friday morning. So they just goes about talking about the balloon. Officials say that officials would not say how large the balloon was, but the military sent several F-22 fighter jets into the skies of Montana to get an estimate. It is sizable, according to the defense official. On Thursday, ABC News reported that the official had described the balloon as the size of 3 buses. So it's a pretty fucking big balloon if it's the size of 3 buses. So that can just tell you that gives you a good indication of how big this thing is. So so
that's a lot of spy equipment.
So there you go. That's kind of like a little breakdown and summary of what this thing is that they saw floating over Montana. So first things first, brother, from your personal opinion, what do you think this thing is?
Oh, I think it's definitely a spy.
Okay.
They China's flexing, all right? Xi Jinping, Winnie the Pooh, he's flexing, you know?
Okay.
Because we've got, so the thing that a lot of Americans may not know is that we're over there in Asia flexing, right? We're bolstering up our forces over there in Asia. We just made a big deal with the Philippines. We have like 4 bases that they've allowed us to use, and basically we're just South China Sea.
That was a good one. Nice.
Yeah, you're welcome. Compliments to the chef. But so we're basically patrolling that South China Sea, and so the old Filipino president Rodrigo Duterte, he actually broke relationships up with America for a while, and he did a pivot, and he was working with Beijing, and that clearly didn't work out for him. So he got out of office, and then Marcos, the new president, which is the son of the dictator or whatever. What do you call the guy that declared martial law after one of the presidents got assassinated on the tarmac? But yeah, it was they had their version of JFK down there too.
Oh wow,
it was dicey.
Yeah, but super dicey.
So this Marcos guy though, he like kind of, and he was a Duterte ally, and but he decided to pivot back to the US because I think they realized that China is like literally stealing everything. They're stealing the fish. They won't let the boats go through, and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, and then we just made a deal recently with Japan to use one of their islands to get our Navy over there. So, there's a lot going on, and and all of this is regarding Taiwan, and we're there to protect Taiwan. But so in response, we've got this balloon coming through. They're like, okay, if they're gonna flex on us in our home court, we're gonna go to their home court, and we're just gonna look at their ICBMs, and we're gonna take pictures of the locations. Our satellites can only get so far, so we're just gonna actually send a balloon 60,000 feet in the sky, and we'll just get closer pictures of their military. That's the guess, right? That's the
Hmm.
guess. We don't know for sure, and I don't know if we'll ever know for sure, but pretty I'm leaning toward that being the case with everything going on. When I can do basic math here, and I can also light a cigarette. I
Don't
can
fuck with me.
smoke that ass.
Right there would have been like, they don't want to fuck with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, China, that's the thing. If like, they ever want to like truly invade, like they know that, we've got what, 330 million Americans,
Oh yeah.
and we have so many guns, so many gun owners. Like I think the average gun owner owns like 3 or 4 guns.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And so we ain't playing. I mean,
Oh, for
we're
sure,
we're
dude, for
we're
sure.
ready to troop it up. We got the
So
farmers.
this is kind of my thing, right? Like before I kind of give my take on just what this thing is up there, this balloon, what it was
Hmm.
doing, and all that. The first things first, if it's in our fucking territory, they're crossing boundaries first and foremost. So at that point, this is a fucking issue. Like that should be highlighted where that thing is trespassing onto U.S. territory. There's no way that
But
should even
it's
fucking happen. You know what I'm
but it
saying?
okay. So the difference between this time and previous times, this has happened before, right?
Okay.
It's never been shot down. But the difference between this time and previous episodes is someone, a civilian, spotted it, looked up and
Mm.
said, "Hey, that looks like a star in broad daylight." And then he ended up figuring out, man, that's not a star at all. That's
The
China.
fucking.
They're coming. They did a ground stop on all the airplanes at the airport there, and in Billings. Yeah, it was crazy. But that's the thing. It's like we are kept, American population is kept in the dark in with so much of this stuff.
Yeah.
And so basically the American population, it was our voices and our concern. That's the only reason this thing got shot down. If we wouldn't have seen it, we wouldn't have. It would have just floated, got all the pictures it needed, and then floated away. We would have never known.
So do you think
Um,
in a way we kind of in some circumstances we kind of let this happen before until somebody actually spotted it, it went viral, and then at that point it's kind of like, all right, we need to
yeah,
pull the plug on this and we need to
I
fucking get this out
I
of
think
there.
the
Think so.
military was under so much pressure that
Mm,
they had to take action. They were forced to take action because of the population. And but it had homeboy in Montana not seen it, they would have just let it go. We wouldn't have heard about this. So this is a cue and a clue for Americans. This is the message: is that we have to be vigilant, and when we see something, we have to be loud. We have to share it on social media. We have to go to our local press. It was local press is the only reason why this got any traction whatsoever. And so it just, the question, I guess, is why? Why is the military keeping us in the dark? Why wouldn't the military say, um, when something invades our airspace, hey, we're going to actually come ahead of this. We're going to,
mm-hmm,
and we're just going to announce it so that we can trust our government more. This is the type of thing that makes me think that Biden is compromised by Beijing.
mm.
And, I read the book by Peter Schweitzer called Red Handed, and it goes in detail with the deals that Biden has with China, that he's completely compromised. And so this could be like, this would lead me to believe that what does he have to hide?
Yeah.
Because obviously he's just letting them do it. And but I think on the flip side, this is almost to be expected because of what we're doing in the South China Sea and with Taiwan. So, I'm not as alarmed as most Americans, just because I'm looking at the macro version of this situation. Um, but it is alarming nonetheless that we had that something was allowed. Like, what if this thing had something that could drop poison on
Yeah,
us from
true.
60,000 feet, right? And
Hmm.
and then Americans are asking, well, where's the military and why didn't you shoot this down? Because what if this thing spread from Montana and all the states, Kansas, Missouri, um, the Carolinas, and it was just dropping poison on everybody? Where was the military?
Yeah,
Tracking it is one thing, taking it down is another. And the excuse that they used about, oh, it would damage people. Listen, I lived in Montana. I grew up. There's not a lot of people out there. Not a lot of people. You could have easily dropped that thing. Local Montanans wanted it dropped in their state. They wanted that thing dropped.
yeah,
So, but the thing is yeah, we're just completely at risk. So, but we also have a president that one of his first actions was the Afghanistan debacle, where um, he came off as completely weak when he told everybody, "Hey, we got to get you out of Afghanistan." Of course, people cannot forget the people that were like holding on, clinging to the airplanes
fucking
taking
mess,
off, and they
man.
fall to their death. And that was all Biden's doing. Biden, and then ever since then, our enemies have felt bolstered enough to be able to do this kind of thing and get away with it. So I think China, I don't think this really shakes them at all. What, Blinken isn't going to come over? Big whoop. Like
Yeah.
we are showing your country and we are scaring your country into proving that we can, like what they say in the rap songs, you can be touched. That's basically what Winnie the
Oh
Pooh was
shit.
saying.
That's
He was saying you can be
that's
touched.
isn't that from Tupac? You can't be touched or like that. Is it Tupac
Uh,
album? Or Tupac song? I mean, isn't it?
no, you're thinking you can't see me.
Is it You Can See Me? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
You
think that's
can't
yeah,
see
yeah, 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 yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
Definitely. Yeah,
but
yeah, yes. I was thinking about that one. You're right. You're right. Damn. You read my mind. But yes, no, just going off top of what you were saying, right? It just seems like they're trying to like almost get a little closer and closer to see how far they can really poke the bear. And with this, for them taking so long to even like have actions to act and do something, it's kind of like, it gets me kind of thinking like, yo, what the fuck? Like, don't you care about the people's like, just what is it? Safety in regards to this thing, like you were saying, what if? I'm just saying, what if, right? It could drop a fucking bomb, it could drop some fucking poison. I mean, you don't know that. I mean, we look at this thing, or they were looking at this thing, they're like, what the fuck is that? And they were
right,
saying that it was the size of 3 buses. It's a fucking huge balloon.
it's
So
big.
it ain't just like your little fucking balloon you get down at the local store down there.
Right. This
And
ain't Pennywise with his little scary red balloon.
no, no,
You know.
this is the size of 3 fucking buses. So my guess on this, man, they were definitely doing some kind of monitoring. They were doing something to where they were probably collecting some data of some sorts, and it's being relayed over because I mean we brought this up before. I actually read an article talking about how Huawei towers were close by IC beam sites that we had here in the US. Like that's
They
a
have
fucking red
like
alarm. Like,
they're
that's not
buying farmland.
that's
China
crazy.
is buying farmland right next to military sites, and and our government is letting it happen.
That's fucking
But
insane,
you know what I
dude.
mean? And so this is the type we need an investigative journalist out there that is like can take this project on to say, hey, this is where China just bought some property. This is where China's some property, and we need to like it needs to gain attention. In fact, if you're a journalist, an independent journalist, and you are doing this or information, come on to the Beyond Expectation podcast. We would
Definitely.
love to hear from you, and
Welcome,
we want
welcome.
to hear that information, and we want to spread to the 12 people that listen to our podcasts, because they need to know.
Love you, mom. Love you, dad. Aunts and uncles and cousins.
God damn.
There's the 12 people right off the bat, baby. No, but I'm sure we have a
And
lot
the
of lovely
FBI.
viewers and listeners listening to the pod, and definitely thank you for rocking with us up until now. But yes, I mean, this is good information to have out there because if this stuff is happening, just kind of, behind closed doors, because you're right. I have heard too. They're buying up land like crazy. Like, and
Yeah.
also for a good minute, I was reading an article a couple years ago that they were buying a lot of these houses over here where we live in the Washington State area. So it's like, what the fuck?
Yep.
So
Vancouver, Canada,
yeah,
BC, they're buying a ton of real estate.
it's crazy,
Yep.
man. It's
Hmm.
crazy. So it's
Yeah,
true. It's true.
yeah, it's just something that I just feel like it's a Trojan horse of sorts because not only are they buying the land and all this, but they've also compromised so many of our political leaders on both sides of the aisle, right? And it's to the point where the conspiracy side of me says, okay, have our top leaders made like backdoor deals with Chinese leadership and said, yeah, go ahead, we're gonna we're gonna weaken our military, and we're gonna divide our country based on race, gender, equity, all this crazy stuff. We're just gonna get our country in so much turmoil where everybody hates each other to where they won't unite, and then you just come on in and hey, spy on our Americans. Let's throw that TikTok out there, get all
Oh
their
yeah.
data. You're gonna have all that lifetime data. You're gonna see the hatred and animosity that everybody has for each other, and you're gonna be able to know how to divide this country. And go ahead, we're gonna let it all go. We're not gonna stop anything as long as we get high ranking positions. So like this could be like a Chinese territory. And so all those leaders that made all these deals with Biden or with China would have all these like cush positions under this new Chinese regime of America.
Mm,
And
mm-mm.
uh
No
and
bueno.
I don't see that. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Our military can pretend like they're being as tough and strong and vigilant as they say. The fact is we just had a spy balloon that crossed our entire country, and it took a local citizen out of Billings, Montana, to say something. That's alarming.
Yeah,
Alarming.
that's pretty suspicious once you put it that way. And it also showed, I saw a map actually that just kind of showed an overview of how far this thing traveled. So it started,
Mm.
didn't it start kind of over like the lower East Coast side of the United States, something like that?
It started in China and then it floated toward like Alaska. They said it went
Oh
through Alaska
shit.
and up from Canada. So Canada should have had visual sites on this too, but so should, starting in Alaska, American territory,
Wow.
they should have had visuals from Alaska. They should have downed it in Canada somewhere, and we would have never gotten this far. But like
Insane.
I said, when you have leadership that is most likely compromised by the Beijing, this can happen. And thank God for that man in Bozeman or in Billings that saw this go down and reported it, said something, got the local media. Thank God for the local media that raised this attention and awareness for the rest of the country to get involved. Because without the American citizenry being vigilant, this would have been another dark secret that we wouldn't have known what was coming until it hit us. So,
Man, that's
and
crazy.
shame on our government for allowing it. Shame on them for dismantling our trust, destroying and betraying us. They've betrayed the American public in more ways than just this.
Yeah.
Financial, economic stability, all this stuff. This whole climate change thing it's under the guise of climate change, but really it's just about getting us all organized and corralled to where they can control us more. It's all about control.
So in terms of climate change, so I'm sure you've heard about it that in New Hampshire it was like the coldest it's ever gotten here in the U.S. Did you read about that shit?
Yeah, it was like yeah, it was cold like Mount Washington. Yeah.
Holy moles.
Where's your
I
wool
like,
jacket when you need one?
I know. See, yeah, like I'm ready
Pendleton,
for
if anyone's asking, Pendleton 569 at Pendleton Outlet.
there's a free plug right there. Hey,
That's
sponsor
right.
your boys. Sponsor me. I'll take a jacket and we'll fucking rep you for sure. But
Absolutely. We need you one.
dude, so yeah, it's crazy. They were saying it was like the coldest temperature, and they did a statistic where not a statistic, but they said a fact like if you stand out there right now, it would be a couple minutes before you get frostbite or you get frostbite, whatever. I'm like, damn.
How long?
Like, I don't know. It was a couple minutes. I forgot exactly how
Yeah.
much, but it was like in a couple minutes. So it's like, holy shit. Ugh.
That's scary, man. But I mean, the thing is yeah. I mean, the dinosaurs endured climate change, and they weren't driving one Hummer. You know what I mean? Planet gonna do what a planet gonna do.
Can't stop it. hey,
Yeah.
Mother Earth is gonna do what she pleases whenever, wherever. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we're just little ants here, on the ride. So it is what it is. Mm.
Yeah, of course. Just little ants.
so
Just
so so more,
podcasting live.
so more of the story. If you see a fucking balloon, regardless of its size from where you see it from the ground, definitely be sus about it. We don't know what it could be at this point. Our fucking antennas should be high alert because you
Yeah.
never know. You never
Yep,
know.
not just that, but like people you're with, man. They've got people like we had a whole police station in New York that was a Chinese police station. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
There
Fill
was
me in.
a
Hey, the
police,
floor is
they
yours,
had
my
a
friend.
whole, literally a whole building in New York City, and it was Chinese police, and they were doing Chinese police work in New York City, and with Chinese citizens. So I mean that like the law enforcement is already in America, and then finally,
Insane.
somebody said something vigilant, somebody vigilant said something, and finally our guys, came in and shut that down. But again, when this stuff happens, it's like, how can this stuff go on for as long as it goes on without law enforcement and authorities knowing? I just feel like they know this stuff. They're just letting it happen until we say it. So like this American country that we have, it's on us to protect it and preserve it because our government isn't. They don't care. In fact, I think they're compromised. I think they are slowly trying to erode our trust and whatever so that they can like be under control of the Chinese government or this World Economic Forum, whatever it is. They're trying to destroy America as we know it.
That's insane. No, I did not hear about that. In fucking insane.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, dude. Like
Wow.
full on police department.
Wow. I mean, that I'm sure that stuck out like a sore thumb.
ACPPD.
Right? It's like, wait, this police station very different from the local fucking police stations we see here in New York. Is it New York? You said?
New York. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. I
man.
don't have, I don't, I wish I could have my little Jamie on the thing to
Oh,
pull it up on our
we will be like,
screen, but
hey, pull that
we'll
up real
get
quick.
there. We'll get there. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. So yeah, okay, crazy. You blew my mind with that one, definitely. So the next one we're gonna talk about, it's a little small topic. I like to throw those little freebies. I'm gonna call these freebies. This is something interesting I read in regards to in Massachusetts, they're trying to pass a law, and this is pretty crazy. So check this out. Massachusetts lawmakers proposed a new bill allowing prisoners to exchange organ and bone marrow donations for reduced prison time. The bill would offer inmates a minimum reduction of 60 days and a maximum of 1 year in exchange for their donation. Despite criticism for preying on prisoners' desperation, supporters argue the bill would provide a path to early release and save lives, sparking an ethical debate within the state.
Mm,
What do you think about that, my friend?
well,
Trading your organs for a fucking less 60-day or a year
yeah,
sentence?
I didn't hear that, but I know that your prison population is suffering from economic despair more than the average population. I know that they are suffering from mental illness on the higher levels. Um, this screams unethical to high heaven to me. Yeah, I'm just thinking,
So
you know,
it's like you're already getting people that are probably not in the best state of mind to make a logical fucking the choice. Like, hey, I'm gonna give my bone marrow or
yeah,
any other organ of mine to get a reduced sentence of 60 days to a year. Hell no,
you're
dude.
basically waiting until they're desperate and
Dude,
then be
that's
like, well, I could let
insane.
you out early, but
But that bone
it'll
marrow,
cost you some bone marrow. Oh, but you got in a fight in the food pantry? Sorry. You're in for the full on Monty.
oh man, dude.
Yeah, that I don't like that.
That's the crazy thing about this, right? Though, like, I would want to like know and be the fly in the wall how these ideas come about. Do they have like a board where these guys are just sitting in the back, or these lawmakers are sitting in the back of the room and just tossing darts on just crazy laws they can pass, or just laws in general where like, let's toss this one up and see where it goes. You know what I'm saying? It's
I
like almost as similar to I don't know what state it was, but I think we've talked about this off air. I think we might have talked about this on the podcast as well, that in this one state they're trying to have it where if you're a drunk driver, and which I stand by this
Tennessee,
law in
Tennessee.
Tennessee, where if you're a drunk driver, you kill somebody from that family, you'd be, or if a
If you kill
kid,
the parents,
the parents, you'd be like
on the
automatically you
hook
would
for
have
child
to,
support,
exactly. So yeah,
until
dude,
they turn 18.
you're the fucking
But
Google,
that
I'm telling
one, I mean,
you.
I could understand
Yeah,
more,
yeah,
right? Like there's real responsibilities.
for sure.
This is you're waiting for someone to be in a desperate position. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
But I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like the laws, like some laws for sure, like that one, right? With the Tennessee law, definitely I'm with that. But this one about, hey, you want to fucking knock off 60 days or a year of your sentence? Cough that fucking bone marrow out. I'm like, dude, the
yeah.
fuck, really?
So I have a better idea. Why don't we just, like educate our prisoners? Like,
Crazy,
if it's
right?
a
Call me
correctional
crazy.
facility, right? Why don't we just introduce college to some of these young men?
That's
You
dude,
know,
you're
they're
fucking
separated
insane,
from
Brett,
their
for thinking
family.
that.
Most of them, a lot of them, many of them are fathers. And so, how dope would it be to be able to say, hey, this is a community college, a satellite of a community college. These are the courses we're taking or that we're offering. And if you take these, boom, then you get out. And then if you want to get your bachelor's, boom, you're going to come out of prison with an associate's degree and then go into a bachelor. That's like real, truly, corrective, you know,
You should be put in those
um,
rooms to
thing.
actually steer people the right way
But
with
it's
those
like,
laws, man.
I could hear that in the boardroom, like, college or bone marrow. And then all the greedy little pigs in there are just like, I think we need bone marrow.
Dude, I
They
know,
had
man.
one
It's
of those
so
buttons with
crazy.
the trap door that the guy that offered college just falls
Just fall straight
down like
down.
Austin
All right, who's
Powers.
next? Who's next?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking
you're
Dr.
thinking
Evil running that thing.
you got too much of a good idea, Brett. We need you to kind of leave the room here, you know?
hmm Ooh, but get his Pendleton jacket.
Yeah, and a school hat. We're okay with that
Yeah.
cowboy hat. Yeah, so that's crazy, right? That's in Massachusetts. That's where I guess it's a proposed law. We'll see where it goes. What do you guys think? I mean, leave your thoughts and answers in the comment section or on Instagram when we drop the cover art for this or the clip for this. What do you guys think? You with it? You're not. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they're trying to do, I guess. And another little freebie of an article here. So let me ask you first, Brett, before I get into this. Are you a fan of astrology? Like, do you believe in it? Have you really read into that? You know, kind of your birthday is this month. So what does that make you?
So I would be a Pisces.
Pisces. Do you believe in all that?
No, I
No?
don't.
Okay.
So like when I was a kid, I used to love all that stuff, because I'm like, oh wow, they really know me. But then one day, I got hit in the back of the head because my mom was like, "You're reading Capricorn, you stupid son of a bitch."
I'm
And so
sorry
then
for laughing.
so then I started paying attention to all the other ones, and then I realized that I was relating to every
Holy
single
shit.
astrology sign. So I'm like, there's a racket going on here. Yeah, yeah, you're reading Capricorn, you stupid son of a bitch.
Oh, that's ruthless. Ruthless, like easy E. My God. Well, I'll just okay. With that being said, let me read you a little bit of piece of this little article here. So, astrology: people less intelligent and more narcissistic. London University psychologists have uncovered a correlation between a belief in astrology and lower IQ as well as higher levels of narcissism. The research was based on a questionnaire that included questions to identify personality traits. Additionally, a short IQ test was included to measure intelligence levels. The results of the study add to the growing body of research that has consistently found astrology to be a pseudoscience with no evidence of its usefulness.
That's funny. That's funny because I like now that you read that article, I can I think of all these like women that you see on like Instagram, and
Mhm.
they're reading astrology and all this, and they come off like they're so intelligent, and I'm like, you are so dumb. You are so dumb. Like Dunning-Kruger is in the room right now.
Oh shit. So
So
I,
dumb,
I
and you think you're so smart.
so with that though, I have found it though as of recent when I before I came onto this article, right? It's become more of a popular trend than usual. Like before, people would read about it, like on a newspaper and a magazine, something like that, where it would just kind of randomly come across you. But it's becoming more of a fad, I think, where like people are really digging into this whole astrology thing and really, studying it more deeply than just your average person. But it's crazy though. Like I don't know where this whole thing came about, where it's like really more, it's more out there than before. I guess you can say, right?
Yeah, I think the population's also getting dumber. I think that you could find a correlation with TikTok users and IQ as well. You know,
Oh, I think the FBI was tapping in. I swear, this happened like last time.
it could
Everything
have
froze.
happened.
Paranoia went through the roof now.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Yeah, that was it could have been the balloon though. That this
Oh,
could be like balloon aftermath.
we need to go outside and definitely after this episode and look up at the sky and see if any fucking balloons. If so, me and bro are gonna shoot it down. He already
Oh,
said
for
it. We're not gonna
sure.
fucking take any risk or chances. We're trying to save
Yeah.
America. All right.
Oh, yeah. Can I say one more thing about the shooting of this balloon?
Okay,
So,
go for it.
I heard so many people, and I hate to say it, but I heard a lot on the right
Okay.
saying, like, people shoot
Yeah.
that thing down, like, oh, why
Yeah.
can't you just shoot it? And like, you'd have politicians showing pictures of them with guns, like, oh, I just shoot that down. Okay, quick math,
Quick.
quick lesson, right?
Let's hear it.
A mile.
Okay.
Check it. A mile is 5,280 feet. Okay.
Okay. Bars.
So
All right.
they are telling you that this balloon was 60,000 feet. Okay. So take 60,000 and divide it by 5,280, you get 11.3. So this thing was roughly 11.3 miles
Mm,
in the air.
mm-hmm.
And you tell me who's shooting a gun and that bullet is going 11 miles, 11.3 miles in the air.
Nobody. Nobody. Nobody.
I'm
You
just,
can't.
I mean, maybe I don't know how far a 50 cal, but I think like the record of shooting someone in the head, like these military, these
Like special ops snipers. Yeah.
is like what I think. Didn't they say it was like a mile long?
Something
They
like that.
shot someone
Yeah.
from a mile. Okay, but now you're talking. It's 11 miles, 11 plus miles in the sky. Okay, not happening. Get that idea out of your stupid thick skull that studies astrology. Okay, and then now back to the astrology. I
Okay.
equate these people that believe in astrology with vegans. Like these vegans are just so hell bent on their diet, and everyone else is stupid but them. They're kind of like the Homer Simpson, where everyone else is dumb but me. And it's just like, dude, okay, I get it. Like me, I've been eating more fruits and vegetables more, and it is beneficial. However, if I want my meat, I feel like my body wants meat every now and then, and I
Mhm.
eat it and I like it and I feel good when I do it. I shouldn't need to have to listen to someone's stupidity about, I'm in the line at Subway and I'm getting, a triple meat foot long, and then this lady is like, oh, she's got little vegan Subway in front of me. I shouldn't have to hear her say, "Oh, you're such a Pisces for eating that." you know, I don't have time for this shit. I don't want to deal with
Oh,
this. I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with your astrology, and I don't want to deal with your veganism. I want to worry about spy balloons flying over me and how my government is compromised.
yeah. There you have it. There you have it. Perfect.
And you're not
Perfectly
shooting the
said.
balloon down. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna happen. You need an F-22 Raptor.
Exactly.
Yeah,
America.
Fourth of July.
Dude, but yes, I mean, for me, I'm not really, I mean, just in astrology, in the astrology topic we're discussing, I've never really been a firm believer about it. It would be interesting to kind of like read about, like, I'm a Gemini, just kind of like what's supposed to happen to a Gemini this month or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's interesting, but it's one of those things that just goes in one ear and out the other. It's not really like, I don't take it fully seriously or anything. It's just like an interesting read. That's it. But like I
Dude,
said, I find it kind of just, I guess, odd that it's become more of like I said, a huge fad now where it's really out there more than before. Like I said, you would see this more like on a magazine or in a newspaper, or every now and then. Like I think back in the days, you'd be able to pull it up on Google and like putting your birthday, then your month or whatever, and then boom,
mhm.
it would come up. But I mean, it's just like
I think,
whatever, you know?
this is my message for the young men out there that are in the dating scene. If you take a girl out for a date and she starts, spitting astrology down your don't ruin your life. Don't That's your first red flag, and you leave her ass at Carl Jr. You leave her at Carl and give her the tab. She can pay the 15.96 for your
There we
meal.
go. There we go.
So,
Fucking
we got
101
to
from the white
protect these
rhino.
young men from these scandalous astrologists out there,
Damn
trying
right.
to trying to
Damn right.
destroy a man's life. Next thing you
Yeah.
know, we're all going to be wearing pink tank tops. you know?
So astrology, red flag, as you heard from the white rhino himself. Get out of there as fast as you can. It's a red flag, and it's just something you want to avoid.
Yeah,
right?
just you want to understand like what it's all about. Crack open a book, man.
There you
Crack open a
go.
book, and not an
Or
astrology book.
no, leave that in the tuck. Don't even mess with it, man. But yeah, that's a little interesting article that I found on that. I thought it was like, damn, that's crazy. I just never thought it was like a huge thing nowadays. But I guess apparently there's a lot more people into it, and I guess it's just one of those. It's like
If
the in thing, right? So
Yeah, well, if I know that someone is into astrology and they try to pull that, I'm done with the conversation right there. I'm done.
see, I'm killing
Done.
it right there. Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'll be like, have you heard of science? Perhaps.
Well, speaking of science, that's a perfect segue into our next article, and it has to do with China. Of course, I know. It's not about spy stuff anymore. We're changing. We're changing the directions on this. This is a fact very interesting. Okay, and this I'm gonna go into this article right here. Chinese scientists said they have successfully cloned three super cow calves that once fully grown are capable of producing 50% more milk than the average American cow. The cloning experiment began last year at the Northwestern University of Agricultural and Forestry Science and Technology in Shanghai, China. Shanghai, I think
Shanghai.
Is it Shanghai? Yeah, Shanghai. China. Scientists sampled tissue from cows across China and used what's called the somatic cell nuclear transfer method to create embryos, which were then placed inside surrogate cows. The calves were born healthy last month in Lingwu City, according to the Global Times. The first calf born weighed 120 pounds and stood 2 feet tall. I think it's 2 feet tall. The
Hmm.
Global Times reported the calves have the same shape and skin pattern as cows they were bred from. The scientists told the state-owned media outlet the calves will eventually produce 18 tons of milk per year or 100 tons of milk in their lifetime. Chinese scientists said. By comparison, the average U.S. cow produces almost 12 tons of milk a year, according to U.S. Department of Agriculture data. Officials from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration have said meat and milk from a cloned cow is just as safe to eat as food from conventional bred animals.
That's crazy.
That's great.
Because I know that
Oh, dude,
the
you're like
World
taking it
Economic
in.
Fund, headed by Carl Schwab, the like new Hitler, is he like their whole program is telling the world you
Oh,
need one third less of livestock. So China is just falling right into that, and they're like, okay, well, we can do one third less because we'll give 50% more milk. So no fear for the cow farts that are destroying the
the
climate.
ozone, right?
The ozone, yeah, no more carbon dioxide from those cow farts, but we get 50% milk. That's crazy. What are your thoughts on that?
So cloning itself, I think to me, when I read this, when I took a little sneak peek into this article, the fucking fact that we can clone now, like, believe it or not, people, we'll be able to clone humans in no time. They've probably already done it. It blows my mind that this is the type of shit I would see in movies. Yeah, mostly see in movies or in shows, whatever. And they talk about cloning people and making duplicates of a certain individual or whatever. And then we talk about this theory or read upon, like, what if one day we can be able to transfer one person's conscious into a new host or body? It's like all this shit's becoming real. Like, I mean, they're
Well,
starting with cows. I mean, I think back in the days, they were talking about how they cloned a sheep. I think that was the
they
first time they
did
actually
Dolly
ever.
the sheep, but
Yes.
then they scientists found that like every clone that they did, the clone was always inferior to
Mm,
the original one.
of
So there was
course. Of
always
course.
like there was health issues, there were
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It was always inferior. So it's just like you mess with the world, with Mother Nature as it was intended to be,
Mm-hmm.
you're never like we play God all the time. These scientists, they try to get us to yeah, become treat science like a religion,
Yeah.
and yet it's so everything that they create by the way of cloning and by it's always inferior to what the earth provided on its own. Like, I mean, look at all these people like, oh yeah, we're gonna give you a pig heart, we're gonna grow this human heart in a pig, and then yeah, guess what, you're dead, because everything science does is inferior, and then they want us to worship science like it's a religion. It's just I'm not with it. Not gonna happen.
Damn. So yeah, I mean, I think what's baffling more to me is that they're actually doing this shit. And as it goes, technology itself is rapidly advancing, and I'm sure science is as well with it. But it's just the fact that you can actually just make something like take a cow and then make it fucking three different versions of it from that same
Right.
cow or whatever, right? That itself is just crazy. Like that, the fact that they can fucking do that is just crazy to me. Because you would never think about that like fucking 20 years ago. Like it was just like a fucking thought of like, oh, what if they can clone a fucking dog or clone whatever or clone a human being?
Uh-huh.
It's like we're living in they're doing it. That's what's
Look,
crazy.
okay.
That's what's
So,
even
you were talking about these cows producing milk. I had a
yeah.
conversation with my daughter the other day. I said, I said, "Hey, honey, what does um what does a baby goat drink? Milk from
Yeah.
her mom." And I said, "Okay." I said, what's another animal that like a dog, right?
Yeah.
Dog, yeah. So what does a little puppy drink? Milk from her mom. So what does a little cow drink? Milk from her mom. I said, what does a full-grown human drink? Milk from a cow mom. why, why are we drinking cow milk? Isn't
Right.
it weird that we drink cow milk?
Well, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're not even supposed to be drinking the milk. It's actually just made for its calf, right? Like a cow for his
Well,
baby calf. We're not even supposed to really be drinking milk ourselves, right?
all I know is that when I was drinking a lot of milk, um, I just did like it was just not sitting right with me. Right. It was
Okay.
just like it just I didn't feel good. I felt whatever. And so then once I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start cutting dairy out of my diet a little bit more, and I started with milk and I instantly felt better, and I'm just like, maybe it was the milk. So then I switched to like almond milk. And now everything I do, I don't even buy milk from the store anymore. And that this is just me. If you're a milk drinker, I'm not gonna be like your vegan, woman in Subway and tell you shouldn't be eating it or drinking it or whatever you want to do. I don't care what you do. I'm just saying, like for me and myself, that's what I do. But I also support the farmers 100%. So
Mm-hmm.
for the people that do drink milk, I'm just clowning. I'm just clowning. I don't care. If you're a human drinking milk from a mother cow, you do you, boo. You know what I mean?
Go for it.
How it
Now
is in the red, white, and blue. So,
America,
so,
freedom,
so
baby.
that's what it is. So I'm not really against cow milk drinkers. People want to
Yeah.
drink milk. You do it. And but I just always thought it was funny, and I only thought it was funny when I stopped drinking it. So
Yeah, I'm not really much of a milk drinker either. Like I think I actually we have switched to just like almond milk in general. But
yeah,
even before, I mean, when I was younger, I would have slammed down the red cat milk like it was nothing, just cup,
yeah.
cereal, of course, whatever. But it just started messing with my stomach, man. I just really couldn't handle it anymore. I moved to the blue, just couldn't really even the blue cap one, I couldn't do it, the light blue cap, and I just had to move away from it, man. I think we're actually I can just say we're dairy free. We don't even have anything dairy like dairy wise like
You don't do
in our house.
cheese or anything like that? Ice
Cheese if
cream?
it has to be what is it? Is there a non-fat milk or non-milk one or it has to be like milk cheese?
I don't know. I don't. I thought that cheese was dairy. It was a dairy product.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I haven't had actually I haven't had cheese. When was the last time I had cheese actually? Now that I think about it, it's been a while actually. Now that I
I went
fucking
to the
realized it.
I went to the Tillamook Creamery down in Tillamook, Oregon, a
Okay, I
couple
saw
months
that.
ago.
Yes, yes.
Took the family there. That was pretty cool, watching like that much cheese being produced. I'm like, man, that's a lot of cow work. They're putting those
Man.
cows through overtime, baby.
No,
Good
actually, I lied.
cows.
Did have cheese not too long ago. I think it was about like a week ago. So I lied. We do have cheese. I think we do have cheese. That's about it. But everything else, like milk wise, we have almond milk. That's all we drink.
Yeah,
So
that's same here.
it's yeah, but
This is a
yeah.
Washington growing on me.
No, but yeah, man, they're cloning cows. They clone three of them. It's able to produce more milk, and they're doing it in China. And also, in relates to that, there's this article I did read about this company in Korea where, if for anybody out there that obviously, like me, right? I lost my puppy not too long ago. It was a couple years ago. Cooper, may he rest in peace. If I wanted to and I had the cheese for it, I could have actually cloned it in Korea. Soam Biotech Research Foundation. You can actually clone your dog for $100,000. $100,000.
Wow.
A hundred
But
thousand dollars if you want to clone your dog,
that's wild.
just
That's
like
wild.
that.
You know some crazy tycoon is doing that
Oh,
too.
dude. I just pulled up the website right now, actually. And for anybody that's curious about it's called Sowam Biotech Research Foundation Korea. It gives you like the biopsy instructions for the veterinarians and all that to how to do it step by step in order for them to do this. So they'll be able to pretty much replicate if you like you had a dog that passed away or whatever, make another one of it.
Yeah, well,
Exactly like it.
Korea is
Crazy.
also it's also the same place where they are taking sewer water and turning it into drinking water.
No
So,
shit.
yeah,
Really?
I think it's on our podcast. We've covered this one.
Did we?
Yeah, where we take like when people flush their toilets, it goes to this treatment center and then they turn it into drinking water.
I don't think we
And
ever
people are
touched
like,
that one.
I
No.
drink it and I love it in Korean.
Hey, Korea. We did the subtitles in English, of course. So there we
Yeah,
go.
where your mouth keeps moving and it doesn't match the
I know,
audio.
right? I love it. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, though, for sure.
The
That's
old kung
crazy,
fu
though.
movies.
So that's what they're okay. So that's what they're working on. They're cloning dogs, and now they're actually making our bathroom water drinkable water now, right?
Yep, yep, yeah. Go take a Duke and then go drink the water that is excreted from it.
Oh man.
Excreted from your excretion.
Oh man,
Uh,
that's crazy. That's wild. Yeah, I mean, dude, yeah, technology, science. Hey, if it's for the good, I'm all for it. But with this stuff about cloning and all that, I don't know. It's kind of a slippery slope on that for me. I mean,
I
I'm
know
not
you
with.
can.
I don't
I
think I'm
mean,
with
in
it.
China,
I'm not with it.
aren't they getting like higher level of like organs and all that from like harvesting all all the Uyghurs that they have in their concentration camp?
Conspiracy wise, that's what I mean. That's what they're saying. I've heard that before. I mean, I couldn't put it past them. I mean, if they're spying on us, I'm just saying. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Right? Who
Yeah,
knows?
Winnie the Pooh is ruthless, man. He goes hard in the paint. Like, I want your organs
He
now.
is cutthroat,
And
man.
then
That
America's
dude.
like light stepping it toward, what was it, Massachusetts, just lightly treading toward that direction by just finding
Mm.
people in desperate positions. Like, hey, I
Oh,
need
that's
your
you're
own
right.
dog.
You just made a connection right there, my friend. Damn.
I'm
Damn.
saying,
It's
man.
like influences other people too, right?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, the Nazis, everything that they did. Here we were pretending like they were the bad guys, and then on the flip, we're like, hey, but we'll take those scientists, man. We need those scientists.
Which we're going to cover an actually interesting topic in regards about that. We've talked about it before off air. It's in regards to the technology that Nazi scientists were working on, that Glock in specific. We'll touch more bases on our next episode, hopefully, and go into that on how we took some of their top elite scientists in what they call Operation Paperclip and used
Mhm.
them for our benefit and creating newer tech on our end. So
Yeah,
very
and
interesting stuff. So we'll touch more
put them
base
in
on that in
high
the
level
future.
positions. Everything,
Mhm.
NASA,
It's
government.
crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy, brother.
we treated those Nazis nicely. We're like, you got a
Oh,
home here.
dude. After all that ruckus, though, you still got somewhere to fucking
Yep.
proceed on with your research and all that.
You got a friend in me.
Yeah, that should be a remix, like a dark toned remix, you know what I'm saying? Chopped and screwed or something like
Yeah.
that. But yeah, man.
Yeah.
Other than that, brother, I mean, that's all I got in the chamber for now. I mean, I think we've touched on a few very I swear, I mean, I found a few more, but I just to make it kind of slight and subtle, I just picked the ones that I felt were more kind of like, okay, we
Yeah,
could build
good
something
topic,
off of
man.
it and just go with it. So for all the people that just tuned into this one, and this is the first episode we watched. If you enjoyed it, definitely follow us on Instagram, Beyond Expedition Podcast. And also we'll have a direct link in our bio that'll take you everywhere we're available as well. And also, too, I do want to bring this up because I haven't brought this up at all. We are actually on Buy Me a Coffee. And what that is, people, for anybody that wants to support our podcast in any way, you're not obligated to. By all means, this is all voluntarily. If you want to donate to us, you can definitely hook me or my boy up with a cup of coffee at a price of your liking there. I don't know what the prices are set, but it's in our bio on our Instagram. Click on it and then just click on the buy me a coffee link, and it'll take you to our page. And you can make a little light donation for us for the dynamic duo here. Again, whatever you do donate, very much appreciated from the both of us. We just we're thankful enough that you actually take the time out of your day to listen to one of our episodes or even watch one of our episodes on YouTube, and also subscribe to our YouTube page. I think I think we're at 96 subscribers. I think we're four more away
Nice.
from
Nice.
100 100 subscribers. I think it would be dope I mean, that we get to 100 at least. I mean, that's 4 more
Yeah.
subscribers. So if you have 4 people subscribed, dude, hey, you'll make us super, super duper happy with that. I think
Yeah, baby.
that'll be a cool little milestone. So we're gonna wrap this one up. Again, as always, check out all our previous content. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and from radio, YouTube as well. We're everywhere, baby. Go check out all of our past previous episodes, especially the one with Skip. Also, like I said, titled "Sorry for My Trauma," episode 119. Dope episode. Again, shout out to you, Skip. Hopefully, we'll talk to you again in the future. But till then, hopefully, everybody has a fantastic Friday weekend as well. We'll catch you next one. Stay safe out there. We love you. Peace.